Hi, I'm Lorna from Lorna Bateman Embroidery, coming to you from my little studio called The Nest up at the top end of my garden. Today I'm going to be demonstrating Drizzle Stitch. It's a three-dimensional stitch used to great effect if you want to create more sculptured and textured embroidery. To give you some examples of these, this is my little doodle cloth, and here you can see lots of different examples of this stitch. Just bring that in a bit closer for you to see. You can see here I've used different thread varieties, a wool, perlays, stranded cottons, the threads being of different thicknesses and also different lengths. If you look at the little drizzles, you can actually see they're completely three-dimensional. I've also added beads onto the end of the little drizzles, which you incorporate as you're stitching, so it creates an alternative effect. I have used it to create my little sheep. So you can see the bottom one there is a little drizzle sheep, and the same I did here in my picture using all three. Oh, I think that's picking up a reflection in the window. So I'll show you instead my L for lavender, which is simply an initial, and the lavender itself is created using the drizzle stitch. Alternatively, you can create the little roses that I've done here along the top and down the side of my little scissor keeper, and that is I've created little drizzles and then couched them down with a thread. And the same can be seen here in my pot of flowers, the tub, where I've made what might be read as roses or peonies, just to create an effect. Right, so onwards now with a demonstration. Drizzle stitch is a form of what we call a cast-on stitch. There are a number of them. Some of you may know them as a single-sided cast-on or a double-sided cast-on, and drizzle falls in the same bracket as those. So what I'm using here for this particular stitch, and you always would use it, is a milliners needle, sometimes known as a straw needle. It is the same width, the entire length of the needle, so it gets no broader at the eye, obviously other than the tip where it narrows, but the actual shaft of the needle is even. I'm working with 2 strands of stranded cotton, and I've taken my little lavender in the breeze design, which is perfect for hoop art, or you can frame it if you like. I have framed it here. It's probably going to give a slight reflection, but you can see it done there. So what we have is my piece is worked through 2 layers, which I've tacked together, and I've already pre-stitched a stem, so I want to be coming up somewhere near the top. So I am going to just work a couple of back stitches into the muslin. So there, 1, 2, and then I'm going to come through to the front at the top of my lavender spray, bring my needle through there, and reinsert the needle next to where you came up, but just a strand of the fabric away, so i.e. not in the same hole. Hold the needle down at the back under your forefinger and your middle finger. Remove the threads from the eye of the needle, and then you're going to cast on. So the cast on is you pick up the thread, form a figure 8 and go into the front of it. So I'll pick up there, I open it with my thumb, and I'm going into the front of the stitch like that. Some of you, if you do knitting, will know it as being done over the thumb, and then you take it off there. So you would cast on as many times as you want the length of the drizzle to be. So here, for example, the tip, I'd have probably about 6, 7 cast-ons. Once I've casted on, I then rethread the needle. Sometimes it needs trimming, so cut your thread at a 45-degree angle if needs be, and then reinsert into the eye of the needle and then pull through there, and I put my finger in the loop so that it doesn't knot on itself, and pull it through, and there I formed my first little drizzle. You can probably see there. So it's a 3D stitch that literally hangs in the middle of nowhere. Come through a little bit further down along your lavender stem, insert, a little bit of fluff through, insert, remove the thread again. So it's one that you're constantly removing the thread from the eye of the needle. And we're going to cast on. 2, 3. So go over the top, roll your wrist and go into the front of the thread, so that when you are going through, pulling it through, your thread lies in front of the loop. So i.e. it's a buttonhole stitch. Again, perhaps a few more, a couple more, so maybe about 9 or 10. You get into a rhythm. Rethread. There we go. And pull through. Like that. Afterwards, you would couch them down. You can leave some of them loose and others you can couch down. You can see I've done that here in my in the lavender on the top of the L there. You can see it quite clearly. That's all the stitch is, and it doesn't matter whether you're left-handed or right-handed. You can cast on with either hand. Some people like to control the needle with the right hand and cast on with the left, even though they are right-handed. I can cast on with both. It doesn't matter to me which one I cast on with. So pick up there, or with my thumb, and there. So go over the top, twist, roll, and go into the front of it. Once you've got it, it's an easier stitch. It just takes a little bit of time to work it out logistically. I'll carry on with my left hand. To create the texture in the lavender, as I said, catch some of them down and leave others free. So what I mean by catching down is literally come up through the top. This is the part that I don't enjoy, is always rethreading, and pull through. Just hold it and make sure there. And that's all it is. So it takes a little bit of practice. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today. If you want to, you can follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. And if you want to see more YouTube clips, I'll be posting them regularly in silk ribbon embroidery, stump work, and raised and textured stitches. Goodbye.